everywhere. I've been to 35 cities this week. And not only that, but they say, keep the buses going, Dan. And the reason we're sending the buses is we do want to send a message, and hopefully these blue Democrats in these cities and these governors in these blue states will put enough pressure on the president to say, Mr. President, you're obviously wrong. The border is not secure. And you need to help us stop this.
Florida is not a sanctuary state. Jacksonville is not a sanctuary city. And they don't support law breaking. So he said, okay, we'll send these illegal immigrants to places that claim to be having sanctuary status. To me, that seemed like the fair thing to do, considering he doesn't have the authority to deport them.
But since the president hired his posse to take over Washington, the debate has shifted from policy to reality. The Biden administration is gaslighting America, not only with their ill-conceived agenda, but they are trying to make us believe that what we actually see and are experiencing is not happening at all. Take, for example, the border.
Several hundred migrants gathering under a bridge after crossing illegally. CBP facilities there are over capacity, as are local NGOs, and Border Patrol has started releasing migrants on city streets.
Try to make sense of this.
Anyone who states that this administration does not have a handle on this crisis, they must have been sleeping under a rock. The Republican Party, they have created a blueprint. It's inhumane for the governor to send immigrants to Martha's Vineyard without any coordination. It's just creating a real crisis.
I'm not only the Terrell County judge, but I am also a rancher. Our ranch is 17,000 miles, and it butts up against Mexico. And I'm here to tell you that this is an invasion. They are coming across the border, and the ones that come through Terrell County typically are not family units. They are people in camouflage. They are coming across the most rugged desert terrain imaginable. And they are trafficking drugs. There are high-speed chases, and we're having to deal with it on a daily basis. Texas is not a gateway. They're trying to use it as a gateway.
Sanctuary states. Let's take a look at them. There you see California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, and Massachusetts. So Massachusetts does consider itself a sanctuary state. Martha's Vineyard is in Massachusetts, right?
Border towns in the Southwest is now in the front yards of Americans all over our nation. My message to Washington as a citizen is to do your job or get out. Fulfill your first responsibility. Safety. Secure our border first. Identify everyone who enters the country. Then you can argue over the politics of who receives citizenship. That's a party issue. To everyone in that Capitol building, if you do not want our border secured and to identify and record everyone who crosses across our borders, then you are serving a political agenda and not your oath of office. To the citizens of my county in Culpeper, the people dropped off by those buses coming from Texas to D.C., they're not staying in D.C. They're coming to our county and counties all over this region. I imagine you know that. And that's not a shot at the Texas governor, Arizona, or anyone else that's looking to relieve their citizens of the burden that they're facing. I have seen it firsthand. I have to respect what you're doing. You're trying to protect your community. But do we know anything about these people? No, we do not, because the federal government doesn't know anything. Virginia's been receiving over 3,500 files on individuals crossing the border every week for months. 3,500 files on the ones they know crossing the border come to our ICE office for Virginia every week. Where are these people living? They're in our towns. This does not include the thousands that are coming that we don't know of. I'd like to give an invitation to our president and his administration and any member of Congress who would like a briefing on the information about the cartel activity in Virginia that I've just mentioned. You can take a short drive to meet me, or I'll come to you. This is truly a crisis for our nation, and is the #1 safety and security risk to America at this time. I thank you for listening.
After they arrive, it doesn't matter if the crime rate spikes, if your daughter's afraid to go outside, if the schools become unusable, if the hospitals fall apart. It doesn't matter. You never complain. You take it like a man. You don't even mention it's happening, even in private text messages to your friends. If you do, you're a dangerous racist. You could wind up on a government list. That's how America works. Everybody knows it because it's been going on for a very long time. That's the rule. But it turns out the people of Martha's Vineyard aren't just anyone. They're the people who make the rules. And in this case, they had no intention of following them, not even for a day. The Venezuelans who arrived there 2 nights ago, bless their hearts, didn't know any of this. They had no perspective. They never heard of Martha's Vineyard. They were just thrilled to be there. Watch.
I can tell you they are not angry at Ron DeSantis. They're actually thanking him for having brought them to Martha's Vineyard.
Well, yeah, they're not angry at Ron DeSantis. They're thanking him for bringing them to Martha's Vineyard. Why wouldn't they? They got a free flight to the vineyard. And at first, it seemed like they had every reason to be grateful because the people of the town appeared to welcome them. As they walked in from the airport, 3.5 miles, they saw signs like this one. On Martha's Vineyard, the sign reads, "We stand with immigrants, with refugees. All are welcome here. Hate has no business."
It's because President Trump did 4 things. He built the border wall, he implemented the Title 42 policy, the Remain in Mexico policy, and he ended catch and release. We have the National Guard on the border. They're turning back people who are trying to cross the border illegally. If they make it past them, you have the Texas Department of Public Safety who are arresting people and either jailing them or returning them back to the border. The people that we are busing, those are people, and it's most of them, they come across the border and go immediately to the Border Patrol and turn themselves in. The Border Patrol used to patrol the border. Now the Border Patrol processes paper, and they write up the paperwork, and then they dump off in local communities everybody whose paper they just processed. And that gave rise to the busing operation. I was in a room about this size with a big table, and it had all the county judges, all the sheriffs, all the police chiefs, and mayors and people like that. And they were letting me know what was going on the border, whether it be Eagle Pass, Del Rio, etc. And they were talking about how all these migrants were being dumped off in their communities, and they had no ability whatsoever to deal with it. And one mayor piped up and said that he was going to start busing them to San Antonio. And I said, don't do that. I have a better idea. I said, let me take charge of this. And the following week was when buses began going to Washington, D.C. So we had a reason to send them to Washington, D.C., and that is because this is a chaos and this crisis that Biden has caused on the border, and yet he has still failed to even go to the border and see what he did. And so I thought, by God, if Biden is not going to go to the border, we're going to take the border to Joe Biden.
But this is a necessary exercise. At some point, they are in this liberal, ignorant bubble. They don't know what's going on. We have to put it on their doorstep to force them to see what it takes to deal with this record-breaking surge of folks flooding into our country.